Hey, welcome. Today we're going to cut right through all the noise surrounding AI and our jobs. We're not going to get bogged down in the hype or the panic. Instead, we're going back to first principles, to really understand the deep underlying trends that are shaping how we're all going to work. All right, let's get into it.
First things first, let's just admit it. Work feels weird right now, doesn't it? It's like we're all standing on shifting sand. Job descriptions feel more like suggestions than actual rules. And if you're feeling that way, well, you're definitely not alone. The data shows this huge gap between what employees are experiencing and what leaders are hoping for.
I mean, just think about this. Almost 3/4 of us, 71% to be exact, are regularly doing stuff that is completely outside our official job description. So that whole idea of a neat, tidy, well-defined role, yeah, that's fading away. And it's fading fast.
And because everything is in flux, about 2/3 of the workforce are saying, hey, we need a change. They're telling companies loud and clear that the old ways of doing things just aren't cutting it anymore. They need more agile, more flexible ways of working that actually match the reality of their jobs today.
But, and this is a big but, here's where you can really feel the tension. While all of us are adapting on the fly, a staggering 85% of leaders are hoping for the exact opposite. They want more stability. And that fundamental clash, that's the reason work feels so weird right now.
Now, this whole feeling of being disrupted by technology, it's not exactly new. It seems like every few decades, a new technology pops up, and we get another wave of what you could call the automation panic. And AI, it's really just the latest chapter in a very, very old story. And if you look back, you can actually see it in the data. Our anxiety today is nothing new. The use of words like automation and robot in books and articles has spiked over and over again for the last 100 years, first with factories, then with the computer revolution, and now, of course, with AI. It seems like we've always been afraid that machines are coming to make us obsolete.
But here's the fascinating part. While we've been freaking out, the workforce has been quietly going through these massive transformations. This chart tells an incredible story. Back in 1860, the economy was all about farming. Then the Industrial Revolution came along and manufacturing took over. And today? Well, today, our economy is dominated by services, things like healthcare, education, and business. This kind of huge shift isn't the exception. It's actually the rule. It's just what progress looks like.
So that brings us to the big question, right? If we've been through all this before, what makes this AI revolution any different from the ones that came before it?
Well, the difference is what is being automated. See, the old waves of automation, they mostly replace human muscle, routine physical jobs. AI, on the other hand, is starting to automate routine cognitive tasks, things like processing information or doing basic analysis. So as this quote says, this isn't just about replacing our bodies anymore, it's about augmenting our minds.
And this right here is the core idea for the future of work. If machines are going to get better and better at doing machine-like things, then the answer for us isn't to try to compete with them. No way. The key is to double down on the things that only we humans can do. Okay, so think of it like this. There's a new division of labor. Machines are incredible at anything predictable. Speed, scale, repetition, that's their game. But us, our uniquely human strengths are in the messy, the unpredictable, the emotional stuff. Things like complex problem solving, real interpersonal connection, and true creativity. That's our territory. That's our unbeatable edge. And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi future we're talking about. The shift is already happening, right now. The most resilient and fastest-growing parts of our economy, think education, healthcare, business services, they're already dominated by these human skills. The real value is no longer in just processing information. It's in solving tough problems and connecting with other people.
So, if we're moving from a world that values us for being efficient like machines to one that values us for being creative like humans, well, that requires a completely new relationship between companies and their people. A new deal, you might say. You know that old 20th century model? The one that treated workers like they were just interchangeable cogs in a huge industrial machine? That model is officially obsolete. The future of work is all about rehumanizing the workplace and recognizing that people aren't just resources to be managed. They're the actual source of all creativity and innovation.
So what does this new deal actually look like? Well, it means we stop micromanaging every little action and start focusing on outcomes. It means we hire people for their adaptable skills, not for a rigid job title. It means we have to actually understand each person's unique strengths and what they want to achieve. And maybe most importantly, it means leading with real empathy, because when you're relying on human skills, you also have to account for human frailty.
Which brings us to the final, and maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle. If our entire future depends on our human skills, how do we get better at being human? This question changes everything about how we need to think about education and growing as people. So the first principle of learning in this new world is that our abilities are not set in stone. That old idea that you're either smart or you're not, it's completely outdated. The science is so clear on this. Our brains are like muscles. We can train and improve our core skills, both cognitive and emotional, at any age. Lifelong learning isn't just some buzzword. It's a biological fact.
The operating system for this new world is something the psychologist Carol Dweck famously called a growth mindset. It's this simple but incredibly powerful belief that your intelligence and your talents can be developed. People with this mindset don't fear failure. They see it as valuable feedback. They run towards challenges because they know that's how you get better. For individuals and for entire companies, having this mindset isn't really optional anymore.
So, for any leaders out there, it really boils down to a pretty clear playbook. Number 1, stop trying to just hire ready-made talent and start becoming a talent maker. Invest in reskilling your own people. 2, build personal capacity. That means helping your team manage stress and set boundaries so they can do their best work without burning out. And finally, number 3, lead with genuine, honest empathy. You have to recognize that your team is made up of whole human beings, not just employees.
And so, this is where we'll end. The great paradox of our time is that the more powerful our artificial intelligence gets, the more valuable our human intelligence becomes. The question isn't whether a robot is going to take your job. The real question, the one we all have to answer for ourselves, is this. In a world of artificial intelligence, how will you choose to become more human?